Please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Hello everyone, welcome back to a Megon 2 Electric Boogaloo. Today we're going to be responding to and showcasing 3 videos from 3 individuals who are all quite overweight, considerably in some cases, less than in others, but still overweight regardless, who believe themselves entitled to additional and preferential treatment because of their size, believing that exceptions, exemptions, aid should be provided because of your own choices, poor decisions, as it were. My view over the years has maintained a level of consistency. If you, the individual, have made a conscientious choice to be supermorbidly obese, then you should not be entitled to any preferential treatment or additional aid because of the choice you made. You should pay for it instead, like anyone else would have to. While you could argue that you are disabled by choice. If you require oxygen to respond to me because of this, and because you choose to be overweight, I'm talking directly to you. Entitlement is one of those generational problems. I fall within the bracket of a generation that is considered quite entitled by nature. I will openly disavow anyone who believes that they are entitled to all the help the world can give them so they can continue to self-harm. Exhibit A, video number 1.
So this is my little PSA to nurses. If a fat patient has reached out to a doctor in any form, email, phone, whatever, asking for an appointment or a referral, do not say, go to the emergency room or urgent care.
Is this one of those quaint little statements where because they're a nurse, they're not qualified enough to tell you where you should probably consider going, just in case? Because that's how I interpret it upon hearing it the first 7 times. There is a level of entitlement here where you've gone around every possible step and gone straight to the manager, Karen, and because of that, you come across as someone that will only speak to someone who's an authority that can mollycoddle you at the same time. But do please explain your position so I can better understand.
Yes, we fully understand that we are practically dying.
Then it would be right, Karen, for you then to go to the correct department to ensure that there are no additional complications that could in any way inhibit your health. Although since you're doing a stellar job of ensuring your health is handicapped from the offset, I can imagine that you would reject this in favor of authority, because mollycoddling is what is required for you really, rather than going where you need to go. Or is it too far to walk to?
But I would rather die than go see urgent care or the emergency room.
I firmly believe in your body, your choice. The same applies to your life. If you choose because of your own pride or arrogance, or self-inflated sense of self-importance, that you cannot be asked to go to a place that may well benefit you, then you are well within your right to reject the service that they would provide to ensure you are given the vital MOT that you require. If you know what an MOT is, then you get the joke. As that's the case in this instance, because arrogance, pride, undoubtedly going to be the case when you continue to explain yourself, I see no issue with the doctors or the nurses saying it to you to at least then, for the sake of their own security, getting you to sign a liability waiver to ensure they're not in trouble for your own dumbassery.
Why? Because I'm constantly dismissed and told that I'm fat, get over it, and go home.
So there is a solution to this. It's quite a complicated one. Equally, it can be regarded as novel. Papa Swole does some fantastic shorts on this all the time, or they were memed to high hello all over social media. Go to the gym, cut down your caloric intake, and stop destroying yourself from the inside out. I am not in favor of fat acceptance. It's an excuse to be lazy. Body positivity? Sure, there are some shapes and sizes I don't really see an issue with. The reductio ad absurdums? No. And I mean both the super fat and the super skinny. I'm not going to support that. Why? Because I'm not. I'm watching someone compress their spine in real time. It's really unusual. Drop 150 pounds, I'm sure you'll get an extra 3 inches in your height back. You might even be able to walk with a straight back-ish, kind of. But you will have a shelf ass for the rest of your life.
So I end up wasting time, money, and a lot of patience.
In the context of life where many undoubtedly say the following, life is too short, roll your eyes whenever you hear that. You may say, time, money, patience wasted. Your body is your investment for the life you have to live the way you want to. If you choose to live this way, you choose to live a shorter, more painful life, constricted, restricted, limited by your choices. If someone tells you the problems you have are because you're fat, lose some sodding weight and the problems go away. If If you want to be cuddled and told, oh, there, things will get better if you just eat another Twinkie, you're talking to the wrong kind of doctor. That doctor's wearing clown face paint. His name's Pennywise, bitch.
So no, I will not go to the emergency room or urgent care. I'd rather be seen, please.
You do realize the doctor will say something similar but with longer words, right? For example, the compounded cardiovascular issues are being enhanced by the gelatinous ooze pumping through your veins. This could lead to a plethora of concerns, not least chronic obstructive pulmonary disease or a simple ceasing of the pulmonary system. But there, here's your Twinkie.
And as I state over and over again in those calls, in those emails, I would rather die than be dismissed.
Well, chubby drama queen, you will find by saying such stupid things in your correspondences with medical professionals that they are more than happy to, well, wash their hands of the situation. Because if they offer you a solution and you don't take it, and it's related to your size, then you are intentionally trying to harm yourself. The Hippocratic Oath means they can do no harm, but they're not the ones doing any harm. They have offered you what can be done, and you have declined it on the grounds that your food is just too damn important, and getting off your shelf arse is far too complicated. Because time is money, betches. On to video number 2.
So, as a fat person, I often dread medical appointments because of blatant medical fat phobia.
Blatant fat phobia is a long way of saying reality. If you are someone that is larger, you will understand that when you go to the doctors, your weight can in fact be a symptom. It can be also an inhibitor to treatments. For example, weighing you is vitally important to ascertain where you fit and what doesn't fit, what is being squished, squashed, and what is being poorly treated, or what a doctor can do and how much extra effort has to be applied. If you're in America, of course, the issue then is additional to that of your insurance. Your insurers, well, they do have the right to decide if you get to live or not half the time. It's quite strange.
The last OB appointment I went to, the provider blamed everything on my weight and told me that I needed to go on a medication that made me feel really terrible.
Without knowing the full context, I will trust the medical professional who has spent many, many years undoubtedly looking into and treating people of various shapes and sizes and differing conditions. Medication, if it's effective, generally does make you feel like crap half the time because it has to serve a purpose. It is not there to treat morals or act with morals or a code of ethics. It is there to deal with a problem. Solutions rarely have a conscience.
This OB appointment that I just went to, I've been dreading, and the provider was amazing. She asked me what my pronouns are. She asked me about my name. She made me feel super comfortable, asked me about my trauma history so that she knew how to touch me in ways that were not harmful.
I'll be honest, couldn't care less about the nature of the individual who's going the extra effort to find out your gender, your pronouns, your name. To me, you're a number. You're another monkey. Get in, get seen, get treated, sod off. I'm still often baffled when I hear that medical professionals do go this extra mile, pointlessly I might add, especially for the appointment you were at in the first place.
She just was like, great. And I was crying before getting my blood drawn because I just never have good experiences with medical providers, and so I don't know, I just wanted to share.
Thank you for sharing in a remarkably short and pointless video where you assert something and do not provide any additional context. Your entitlement is that you believe you should be mollycoddled at every single stage of the medical process. I firmly believe you need to suck it up and get over it. I found over the years a number of my friends who are doctors have indicated, this is obviously asserted as well, I'm not providing any information to back it, you can dismiss it if you like. They have issues with those who are larger drawing blood from larger people. They have to make extra concessions to do it. Just a point, nothing more than that. Video number 3, another person within the realm of entitlement we covered on this channel before. How exciting. A travel vlogger and, they believe themselves to be, influencer, trying to affect positive change for those who are extremely large, like her.
My ordeal at SeaTac Airport will shock you.
I doubt it, but I live to be dazzled. The individual we're covering is Jaylin something. They've been petitioning for airlines to be more accommodating of those who are larger, same with hotels as well, offering preferential treatment at the cost of the company, and in some instances, some companies in, I believe, the southwest of the United States, airlines more notably, have been offering these additional services at a detriment to their income. When the person in question, Jaylin, could just pay for an extra seat.
This experience I'm about to share with you is yet another example of why employee sensitivity training, a demand outlined in the plus-size travel petition, is desperately needed.
It's not needed. I promise you it's not. They, the hostesses, hosts, attendants, whatever they're called, are trained to treat the vast majority. You are a vocal minority. A vocal minority who believes that they should be given extra for nothing. I believe you made the choice to be that size. You can pay for the extra. Because if you can afford all that food to get you to that size, you can damn well afford another seat on a plane. And for the reinforcements for the bed that you've also been asking for in your little demand sheet.
I'm a plus-size wheelchair user, and on a recent flight to the SeaTac airport, I requested wheelchair assistance, as I always do. When it came time for me to deplane, I saw the employee who would be assisting me with my wheelchair waiting for me in the entry of the jet bridge. As I approached her and she realized she'd be assisting me and not one of the smaller passengers, she started to walk away with the wheelchair while making comments about my size.
This story is interesting because all we see in your story is you going to your seat. We don't see any of this interaction. If you're such a vlogger, you'd think you'd take advantage and record this like a good little, social media influencer. That's what you identify as, I believe. The person who is there to help you deplane with a wheelchair, the person there meant to help you may not have been equipped to be able to handle you in the wheelchair and help you deplane safely. So them walking away could well be because they were not able to deal with you and may well most likely have thought you were someone smaller and just disabled, as opposed to someone who is capable of walking but eats far too much and requires oxygen to get from A to B. Which isn't a joke, by the way, you're going to mention it in a moment anyway. The compression inside your body is what's harming you. Reduce your caloric intake and do a bit more exercise.
Even when I told her I really needed the chair and needed her to let me sit down in it, she blatantly ignored me and kept walking. I was then forced to walk up one of the longest jet bridges I've encountered, and she didn't stop. By the time she let me reach the wheelchair and sit down, my lips were white. My oxygen levels had dropped and I almost fainted. This was my first time flying without oxygen. This woman just assumed I could walk and would rather me do that.
What's not helping you here, young lady, is the fact that you are complaining about requiring preferential treatment whilst you're playing a video of you walking in the background. You may have struggled and had issues with breathing and oxygen levels, all of which I have no doubt are because of your inability to look after your body as opposed to any other medical condition you will claim you have. This makes you look stupid because you are showing them to be correct. You can in fact get to your seat. It's not easy, but that's because clearly you don't do enough walking. You may identify as disabled, but at this point I firmly believe it's because someone used disable on you while you played Pokemon and you were unable to run away because that was your only move.
Instead of her having to push someone my size up the jet bridge, all the other attendants wheeled their passengers up the jet bridge, but my needs were disregarded. This is discrimination. Nobody should be treated this way.
You're right, no one should be treated that way. I fully agree with you, the customer's always right. There's never a time where a customer could ever be wrong, ever. You deserve to be wheeled about because society must always cater to you. This should of course apply to all walks of life when you're being wheeled about in a wheelbarrow.